This is Ticats Today.
Yes, it is Ticats Today for a Thursday, September the 23rd, 2021. It's your digital host, Louis B. Thanks for checking us out here on the Ticats audio network. Hopefully you were listening to us last night. Maybe you were listening to Tiger Cats post-game today. But a big win for the Ticats last night at TD Place Stadium, picking up a 24-7 victory over the Ottawa Redblacks. They improved to 4-3 on the season as they hit the halfway mark. They currently sit first in the East. So the Ticats picking up their fourth win in their last 5 games. Big victory, played relatively mistake-free football. It wasn't pretty, and Dwayne Ford mentioned this earlier this week, that there are no style points in football, but the Ticats got the job done over the Redblacks, and as mentioned, improved their record to 4-3 as they hit the halfway point here. We'll get more on last night's game when we're joined by the CFL on TSN's Matthew Scianitti coming up here on Ticats Today. We're going to hear from David Watford. We're going to hear from Coach O in just a second as well, as he spoke after the game to the assembled media. But I did want to point something out. There's a brand new episode of Task and Twos that's now out wherever you got this podcast. If you're wondering where Luke Tasker was, he answers that. He's got a great reason for why he missed last night's game. But shout out to my guy, Andy Fantus. I gave him a couple of dirty looks at the stadium yesterday and mock silent treatment. But I had a great time hosting with Courtney Stephen last night. He did such a great job sliding in for his first broadcast. But looking forward to being back with Andy on October the 2nd when the Ticats return home to take on the Montreal Alouettes. All right, let's get some post-game reaction. Let's hear from Coach O as he spoke to the media after the game last night.
Feel really good. I feel proud. I'm just so happy for them. As a coach, you're always pushing, so you're not going to be completely satisfied. But it's been a tough stretch. We knew it was on the calendar. We battled quite a bit of adversity, quite a few injuries. And, I can't really say enough about the organization as a whole. And I mean that from everybody that's been involved, from, the therapy staff working around the clock, equipment. And I'm talking about the coaching staff putting together plans. And, of course, the all-important players executing. Well, I just think they made a few adjustments and we made a few less plays. Their execution possibly was a little bit better. And we tried to push the ball down the field, a little bit. But I also feel like the field position, we were backed up a little bit more than we were in the first half. Had a little bit to do with it, but David would definitely be the first to tell you he'd want some of the throws back. But sometimes you got to take the game as it comes. So you also got to credit them for making some plays. And, it's at the end of the day, it's about one more point to make. Right. So I'm just proud to collectively in all 3 phases, we did enough. Obviously, we'd like to have our punt coverage against their punt return team. We'd like to have that back. But, hey, that's part of the game. Yeah, I'm extremely happy that we are all done playing our 4th game in 17 days. The thing about it is, Justin, we knew it was on the schedule. What you don't know is how you're going to be, how healthy you're going to be, and where you're going to be injured. That's the challenge of it. So you can prepare for those things, but you're going to have to midstream adjust along the way. So it's definitely grueling. Like, these guys were banged up and sore, but I'll tell you what, their mindset was not tired and their hearts weren't sore, and I'm just so proud of them. It comes from within. That's what it is. If you have the right people, you don't worry about things like that. Those are uncontrollable factors. The game's on the schedule. They're going to kick the ball off regardless. And so it comes from within. There's no speech I can give them. There's going to be times out there when they're going to be sore and they're going to be tired, and they're going to have to make a choice at that point to push through or concede. And I thought they pushed through.
That is the head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Orlondo Steinauer, as he spoke after the game last night. Still ahead, we're going to be joined by the CFL on TSN's Matthew Scianitti. But I did want to kind of point out, Coach had mentioned it a couple of times. He was asked about it a couple of times. The the 4 games in 17 days. And if you were listening to the broadcast last night, you heard me talk about it, you heard Courtney talk about it. It's really been a big topic of conversation. But I think it's impressive what they've gone through in that stretch. They're 2 points away from possibly going 4-0 during those games. A tough loss in Toronto. And you could look at it and say, okay, well, it was Ottawa. Okay, well, it was Calgary. They're in last place in the West. But they did it without their number one quarterback, their number 1A, 1B quarterback, excuse me. They've done it without their top 3 receivers. They've done it without the most outstanding lineman, a 14-year vet and a sure first ballot Hall of Famer in Chris Van Zyl. Their first overall pick hasn't played a snap this season. Don Jackson hasn't played. I'm not making excuses for the Ticats. They don't even need to do that. But I think if everybody kind of took a step back and realized, all teams are going through injuries. I get that too. But if you take a step back, look at what the Ticats have gone through. David Watford wasn't on this team a month ago. He's led them to 2 straight wins. Hasn't turned the ball over in those 2 wins. So, I might sound like the biased homer over here, but I think got to put into perspective what the Ticats have done the last few weeks. And then something Taskin Twos pointed out, Andy Fantuz brought this up. Go check it out, Ticats Audio Network. The Ticats play 5 of their next 7 games at home. Their path to the Grey Cup could have 7 of their next 9 games, or 7 of the final 9 games of the season, played at Tim Hortons Field. They only actually have to get on a plane one more time this season. That's week 12. They have to fly to Edmonton. Other than that, all the games are at home except for one in Toronto. So, I think, you think back those first 2 weeks, everybody's writing off the Ticats, but they seem like they're in pretty good shape heading into the second half of the season. All right, let's hear from David Watford. As mentioned, he had himself an efficient game, 15-25, 115 yards, but he did lead the team in rushings for the second straight game. And again, he played mistake-free football. Here's what he had to say after the game last night.
First of all, to answer the first part of your question, God is the greatest. God makes no mistakes, and I'm just thankful to be here. I'm thankful that the team was able to bring me back, and they believed in me and my abilities, and just being put in this position. I'm thankful for the team that we do have. We have incredible players, incredible guys, incredible coaches, incredible staff, and we're able to go out there, execute, and get it done. Just my play, it was tough in the elements. I can't lie, but we were able to go get it done, and the guys played, amazing for me. Offensively, I missed some stuff, and I know I'm gonna watch the film and be so mad at myself, but we got to win, so it'll make the film a lot easier to watch than if it was lost. So. And I was telling Rolly when he got that pick, I'm running down the sideline with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to meet him in the end zone. He got that interception. It's amazing to see the defense ball out like that and, do their jobs, in practice going against them and stuff, seeing them, it's tough. I understand why they're able to get interceptions and create turnovers the way they do because we have an amazing defense that play lights out. So, it's always good. It's always good seeing them. And, it just boosts the morale of the team when they get turnovers and, seeing Rolly score, seeing Frankie score on punt returns and kickoff return touchdowns. It just everybody's just hyped. It boosts the morale of the team. It gets everybody flowing. So it's always awesome seeing that. And I think it's we have a lot of willpower, great fighting spirit. This team is we're a real family and we play together. Coach O always preaches that, and every situation is perfect. That's what he always preaches to us. No matter the situation, the elements, whatever, it's always perfect. And we know that, as long as we play together and we do our jobs, we'll get it done. So, we just try to make sure we do that every time. We just try to be us, play our game, and let the chips fall where they may. So it's been a lot of adversity, but we've been able to, face it head on and not shy away from it. And, it's worked out in our favor.
That is David Watford as he spoke after the game. And, Coach had mentioned it, that he might be the first to admit he wanted a couple of throws back, but you can't blame him. He played a an efficient game. He kept the Ticats moving the ball. He got them within field goal range when he needed to. And he connected with Dunbar on a big touchdown for his first career CFL touchdown pass. So he moves to 2-0 as a starter. Ticats have 10 days before their next game. Will that be enough time for Jeremiah Masoli to get back to 100%? It'll definitely help in the recovery of Dane Evans, who remains on the 6-game injured list. But as mentioned earlier, Ticats are going to start to get back to full health. Devere Posey, Braylon Addison, guys we could see back in the lineup at some point sooner rather than later. Don Jackson, as mentioned. So, lots to be excited about with this Ticats team. For more on last night's game, let's bring in the CFL on TSN's Matthew Scianitti. And Matthew, it was a wet one last night. I don't have to tell you that. Have you actually dried off? Have you felt the sensation of being dry since last night's game?
Just a little while ago, I am wearing the pants that I wore last night. I left them dry last night before I came back to Toronto. So they are, everything is fine. And in those situations, you just got to enjoy it. You have to have fun with it.
It definitely looked like you were having fun with it on our feed from the stadium there. The game itself, Dwayne Ford mentioned it earlier in the week. There's no such thing as style points in the CFL, but you got to give the Ticats credit. They executed their game plan almost to perfection for the second week in a row.
Yeah, I think you can see the rising standard, in the within the team when David Watford comes out after the game and says, "Listen, you know what? I don't know if I played my best. I'll look back on the film and probably evaluate and be critical of myself." I think that shows that after a 0-2 start, this Ticats team is back to the one that we expected, which is a team with a high standard, high execution rate. And I think if you're looking at everything that's happened, knowing that this team has been without many of its major offensive weapons, 2 of its starting quarterbacks, and they sit atop the East. If I would have told any Ticat fan that before the season, that halfway through the season, they'd be where we thought they would be, I think anyone would have bitten the hand off of the person offering that. So, especially defensively, although I imagine people will also point to the fact that Ottawa, with the greatest amount of respect to venerable coaches like Paul LaPolice and Bob Dice and Mike Benavides, is not very good. So it's not an indictment on Hamilton to say that what happened last night in beating a team that's last, but I think it shows that the standard is what the standard was always going to be. This is a team that expects to be first. It's going to work hard to be first. Doesn't matter if it's raining. Doesn't matter who they're missing, who they're with, who they're without. This is a team that's going to want to be the best in the league, or best in the East at least. And right now they're proving it.
I was getting ready for last night's game, happened to turn on Sports Center, and Corey Warren was on there, and then I see Matthew Scianitti holding an umbrella. And is there a quarterback controversy? Is there a quarterback controversy I don't know about in Hamilton right now, Matthew?
I think I was getting ready to put together or get ahead of a question that I think some might have asked, and I don't think it's relevant at all. And I think the point being is I made it is the Ticats offense is going to look very different in 10 days' time. That David Watford has been a great steward. He's done everything I think that's been asked of him. And anyone who thought, and I think this is a credit to Tommy Condell, there is such buy-in with this offense, especially from the quarterback position, and Tommy is just he's going to obviously show you the level of how much he's mastered this particular offensive scheme, that he can tailor it to particular quarterbacks, and those quarterbacks are not going to make mistakes. I mean, David Watford, sure, maybe he missed throws, but didn't make a mistake. He didn't make a pick six giveaway, like a back-breaking interception that Dominic Davis did. And I think that just shows you the buy-in that he has in this offense, that he's saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I know what my role is. I know exactly what's expected of me, and I'm going to go ahead and hit it. And, there's no quarterback controversy in Hamilton. Jeremiah Masoli is healthy. I fully expect that he'll be starting in 10 days' time against the Montreal Alouettes. Brandon Banks is healthy. I fully expect him to play. And if Devere Posey and Braylon Addison are healthy, that Ticats offense is going to look real different in a week and a half.
It's a great point. I didn't mean to throw that question at you.
No.
I know you don't.
I
know you don't write the headlines either, though, too. So I know that sometimes questions get pinned on you, and I did enjoy the tee up to Friday night's game, and I think the headline was "What's the Ticats' level of confidence in David Watford?" And I didn't even hear "Come on, man" even once in the piece. So Matthew, appreciate it as always.
Orlondo Steinauer wasn't there to if anyone had a soundboard, if it could have just been him saying that response, it would have been a lot funnier. But yeah, no, it's Louis, it's as you know, sometimes as a reporter, you certainly have to ride the wave of whatever the talking points are, but every so often you got to remind people that talking points are all fun and games, but fairness and facts, especially when you're talking about football, you can't be denied.
Well said. Matthew, thanks for checking in with us today. Appreciate it.
Talk to you later, buddy.
My thanks to Matthew Scianitti for joining us as he was walking back from Argos practice, because, of course, the Argos getting set for their game. Big East Division matchup tomorrow as a strange Week 8. Week 8 that began on Wednesday and ends on Friday with just 3 games. Concludes tomorrow with a doubleheader on the CFL on TSN. First, it's the Argos hosting the Alouettes, and then it's the Saskatchewan Roughriders at BC Place to take on the Lions. Because there's no Ticats. Coming up on tomorrow's show, we'll be joined by CFL.ca Deputy Editor Christina Costabile. We'll get her thoughts on the Ticats win on Wednesday or yesterday and her thoughts on the doubleheader tomorrow night. So join us tomorrow as we wrap up the week. Thanks for checking us out today. Make sure to check out a brand new episode of Task and Twos, episode 7. Check it out wherever you got this podcast, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. So all the great content we have for you here on the Ticats Audio Network. Hopefully you have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll talk to you again tomorrow for the Ticats Audio Network. I'm Louis B. Hoping you have a great day.